Hey guys, this week we're going to be talking about the different types of RV campgrounds.
So we thought we'd take a moment this week maybe to enlighten some people who are maybe new to RVing, because there's a lot of people that are, discovering RVing, I think, this year with everything that's gone on, and some of the different options that you have out there for places to stay.
So if you are new to our channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can follow us on our journey, and also
make sure you hit that notification bell. That way you know when we upload new videos.
Okay, so number one we are going to talk about is
like the privately owned campgrounds.
Yeah, and they're also called what else?
More like the resort type feel. Most of these campgrounds have all the amenities that you want, like full hookups at your site where you'll have electric, water, and sewer. And a lot of times they'll have swimming pools, they'll have laundry, they're going to have maybe different kinds of games like shuffleboard and cornhole and different things, playgrounds for the kids, dog runs for your dog.
And they even have like some activities around the campground, like dances and
get-togethers.
Yeah, get-togethers, and even when we were at that one, they had trick-or-treating for the kids.
Yeah, and one of our first ones, they also had a potluck dinner for Thanksgiving because we were staying there in Thanksgiving. So that's kind of the resort feel, and that's kind of what we did when we first started. So one of the first campgrounds that we actually stayed at that was a resort campground, but also kind of turned us on to the state park camping, which is what we prefer now, was the Rock Crusher Canyon. Now, it had all the amenities you could ask for, but it had more of a camping feel with the trees, and sites were spread out more. Typically, when you're in a resort, you're going to be one on top of another, so to speak, mostly. The good things about resorts, though, is most of the time you're close to activities, like if you're looking to go to town, if you're looking to stay near a town or a major town,
near families,
major attractions and stuff like that, yeah. Whereas the state parks, you're going to be, usually they're off the beaten path a little bit.
One of the things we did notice about resorts is they typically are a little bit more expensive, which is to be expected, especially with all the extra amenities that you're getting, as well as full hookups. So, I mean, that's
typically
expected.
I would say we would spend on average more than $50 a night, probably between $50 and $70 a night. But when you get into some of the more desirable locations like Key West and in the Florida Keys, you're going to spend over $100 a night.
Right. The second type of RV campground, which is our favorite, is the national and state parks.
Even county parks you could probably throw in there too. They're kind of similar.
The reason why we like them so much is because they really have that true camping feel. They typically are off the beaten path, and they're set back in the woods usually.
More privacy between sites.
Yeah, and it just have that more rustic feel to it. They don't really have full hookups a lot of times, the sewer, but they do have dump stations, which is a nice thing. When you are at a resort style campground, you can stay usually as long as you want. As long as you're willing to pay for it, you'll stay there. Usually they have daily, weekly, or a monthly rate, whereas the national and state parks, they only allow you usually to stay for 14 days. Another wonderful thing that we love about state parks and national parks so much is that there's so much more to do out in nature. For example, hiking,
biking,
kayaking, and
canoeing.
Yep, as well as
fishing. Yeah, especially in the state parks here in Florida, they have a lot of different parks that are catered to different things, which is nice.
Another interesting fact is that in state parks and national parks, all dogs are accepted as long as they are on a 6-foot leash. They're typically able to go to most places in the state park. Some trails they're not allowed to go on, but in privately owned campgrounds, there are certain breeds that are not allowed to even be there. And some privately owned campgrounds don't allow dogs at all. So that's something definitely that you need to look into if you're going to go to a privately owned campground.
Yep. Yeah, we actually ran into that with our friends Rick and Carmen when they first got their camper, and we stayed at Cedar Key. And they would not allow their breed of dog. They actually requested a picture of their dog before they okayed it.
And they said that looks like too much like a pit bull to us. So
to them it looked like, it's a boxer mix, but they thought it looked too much like a pit bull, and they said no. And I think a lot of that has to do with the insurance that these privately owned parks have to have. And when it comes to insuring, sometimes it's They're just not allowed to have certain breeds. So when staying at a state park, we will typically find that the price is much cheaper than the resorts or the privately owned parks. Generally,
and I think a lot of it's probably because of the fact there's less amenities as far as things that are offered around the campground.
but overall, we prefer the state parks, especially here in Florida. We love those, just for the overall camping feel that you get while you're there. And the price doesn't hurt either.
Okay, and number 3 type of campground.
Boondocking, and that's free camping. There's a lot of places out west where there's a lot of BLM land, which stands for Bureau of Land Management, and that is free. Here in Florida, we have Swiftmud.
Mm-hmm.
Now they control like the water in our area and the drinking water and all that kind of thing, and they have a lot of public lands out here that you can just go on their site and you can request a camping reservation. It's free, but you just have to request it and be approved, and they give you a gate code, and we go in and we unlock the padlock, and you go in, and it's all dry camping. So by dry camping, we're talking about no electric, no water, and no sewage.
sewer.
Yeah. Now, typically these places we have here will have some public bathrooms, but they're just what do you call it? The kind that
Porta potties type.
basically, yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we always make sure we have a full tank of water when we go. We usually take our generator with us in case we need to run the AC, because it's Florida. And typically they do have, at least here, they'll have time limits on generator running. You have to shut them off at like 8 p.m. But we've seen people running past that with these quieter generators. It's really not that big a deal.
If they're halfway across the other
Yeah.
side of the campground, then
You don't even hear it really. It's mainly those open frame generators that are so loud that they're trying to prevent, I would say.
make
But-
it a more peaceful stay.
So looking at the positive, and of course with the boondocking, you're in nature too, which is kind of like the state park camping, which we like so much. But you do have to have a trade-off when it comes to having the power and the water and the electric. Well,
One
I
thing
guess
is-
I guess power and electric are the same thing.
Yeah.
One thing we were talking about when we were thinking about shooting this video was Allie was mentioning that how we actually started off tent camping, and that's where we really fell in love with the camping in general, mainly island tent camping. But when we borrowed her dad's RV for a couple times for a couple different things, we just really fell in love with it, and that's why we ended up deciding to go and start pursuing getting our own RV. And I tell you, we love the RV lifestyle. It's so awesome. Even if it doesn't matter if you're at a resort or if you're at a state park or a national park, there's something positive about each, and there's probably something negative, I would say, about each. So I would just say to do like we did possibly and just get out there and camp, figure out what your style is, unless you already know what you like. Try the resort, try the state parks, try some boondocking.
Yeah, there's really no right or wrong way to do it. We actually enjoy all 3. It's just we prefer more of the state and national parks, but there's going to be a right fit for your family, and Chuck's right. Just get out there and do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some times where we have to stay at resorts, even though we don't like it as much, but it's because we're needing to stay near family, or we're wanting to stay near an attraction or a certain area like Key West. That's basically what you got to do. I mean, they do have state parks in the Keys, but
And
they're
then we
extremely
do-
difficult to get in.
Yeah, and then we do enjoy the amenities that they provide for you there. So we always make the most of it.
So we are AlliChuck Adventures, and if you are new to our channel, we would hope that you would hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications. That way you know when we upload a new video. Now, next week is going to be Thanksgiving week, and we are heading to the Panhandle of Florida. We're going to be staying there through the weekend prior to Thanksgiving up till Thanksgiving Eve. We are going to visit a bar that was made famous by Jimmy Buffett, if all goes well. All right, so we will see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.